A couple in the state of West Bengal, India, since they had no children during their 9-year marriage life. Hence, the husband preserved his sperm in a laboratory. 2 years after the husband's death, the wife gave birth to a child with the help of medical science, IVF, from the preserved sperm. Is giving birth to a child from the preserved sperm after the death of the husband permitted? What is the Islamic ruling according to the Sharia? First, let us understand what is IVF. IVF is in vitro fertilization, and it is basically wherein the sperm of the man is taken, it is kept along with the ovaries of the woman, which helps in fertilization, and later on the embryo is formed and it is put back into the womb of the woman. Now, how is IVF or in vitro fertilization done? So generally, the doctors, they give certain kind of medications or injections for the hormones so that they will help the ovaries to develop eggs. And then later on, other medication or injections are given so that it helps in the development of the eggs. Once the eggs are formed, then they are extracted. And then several sperms are taken of a man and it is kept along with the ovaries of the woman. And later on, fertilization takes place and the embryo is formed, and the best form among these embryos, it is taken and it is put back into the womb of the woman. This is in short regarding in vitro fertilization. And similarly, we have other terminologies. For example, artificial insemination. In vitro fertilization is a type of artificial insemination. In artificial insemination, the semen is taken of the man and it is kept with the ovaries of the woman for fertilization and for the process of pregnancy, so that the woman can become pregnant. Now, the purpose of IVF is if there is infertility. Generally, it is used for this purpose. If the woman cannot get pregnant through the natural method. Now, what is the Islamic ruling regarding this? There are various types of IVF and artificial insemination. Certain are haram, while others are permitted. There are basically two types. One is heterogeneous and the other is homogeneous. Heterogeneous is wherein a third party is involved basically. So, for example, the first type of the heterogeneous artificial insemination is wherein the wife goes to a sperm bank and takes the sperms of a random man who is not the husband of the wife, and then the sperms are kept with the ovaries and it helps in fertilization, and then after the embryo is formed, it is put back into the womb of the wife. This type of artificial insemination or IVF, it is not permitted in Islam. It is prohibited because the third party is involved. The second type is wherein the semen is used of the husband and the ovaries are used of another woman who is not the wife of the husband, and they are kept together, fertilization is done, and then the embryo is put back into the uterus or into the womb of the wife. Even this, it is prohibited, it is not permitted because third party is involved. From among the homogeneous types of artificial insemination is, the first type is wherein the sperm is taken of the husband, the ovaries are taken of the woman, they are kept together, fertilization is done, and then the embryo is put into the womb of another woman who's not the wife of the husband, which is called as surrogate mother. Even this, it is haram, it is prohibited. The second type of homogeneous artificial insemination is wherein the sperm is used of the husband and the ovaries are used of the wife, They are kept together, fertilization takes place, and the embryo is put back. After the formation of the embryo is put back into the womb of the wife. This is the type which is permitted, because only the husband and wife, they are involved and no third party is involved. So for IVF to be permitted, the sperm or the semen, it should be of the husband. The sperm should be of the husband, the ovaries should be of the wife, and after fertilization takes place, when the embryo is formed, it should be put back into the womb of the wife. No third party should be involved. And IVF or artificial insemination should only be used as a last resort. Unfortunately, people, when they do not have, or a couple, they do not have a child, maybe for a few months or maybe for 1 or 2 years, they resort to this. If there is a medical issue, or if there is infertility, or if, for example, the sperm of the husband is healthy and the ovaries of the wife are healthy, but there's a problem in the passage due to which the wife is unable to get pregnant. So in this situation, there is no problem if there is a medical issue and if other methods are not working. But generally, this should be avoided. A person should be content with the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, coming back to your question regarding preserving the sperm, and after the husband dies, using it, the wife using it for IVF, why would a person do such a thing? And the scholars, they say that you should use it then and there and you should not preserve it. And if such a thing is done, then the child that is born would be without a father. So there is no need for doing such a thing, and this should be avoided, especially because the husband has already passed away. And people, if a couple, they do not have children, they should be content with the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many a times, it is better not to have a child than to have a child. It is better not to have a child than to have a child who is disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, than to have a child who does things that are haram, who is disobedient to the parents, who disrespects the parents, who does things that are haram, who, for example, becomes a drug addict or has alcohol, or he leaves the fold of Islam. So many a times there is maslahah, there is hikmah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests different people in different ways. So we should be content with the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when IVF or in artificial insemination is done, it should be used as a last resort if there is some issue, and the woman, she should see to it that she maintains her aura. She goes to a female doctor, and and this is how it should be done, rather than she exposing her aura in front of a male doctor. So I hope that answers your question.